Welcome to Elyria High School. It's a beautiful night for basketball in Northeast Ohio, and we welcome you here to the Stewart's TV and Appliance Game of the Week on the Lorain County Sports Network. Stewart's Appliance, where you should shop smart, shop local, shop Stewart's TV and Appliance. And we have just got a heavyweight Southwestern Conference matchup tonight. Great matchup between the Elyria Pioneers hosting tonight the Avon Lake Shoremen, and everything points to just a great contest ahead on your YouTube channel tonight. We look at the RPIs. Elyria 21 in the Division I Northeastern region. Avon Lake 33. They're right there with each other. Also, in the first matchup, just about a month ago on January 9th, Elyria went up to Avon Lake and took away a 61-57 win. And we've got a lot at stake this week, as it's the final week of RPI adjustments that could happen because of your schedule, as the seating is up this Sunday. So a lot going on. So make sure you just leave your YouTube where it is. It's Elyria and Avon Lake coming up here, and we get ready for every game by talking to the coaches that are going to give us some insight into what to expect for tonight's game. And it's brought to you by Great Lakes Basketball. Great Lakes Basketball, where you can train with the best. Jay Valadez, a certified AAU coach. And I'm going to talk in just a few minutes with Elyria head coach Brett Larrick. But first, my partner Max Drummond has a few minutes with Avon Lake head shoreman Eric Smith here on the Lorain County Sports Network.
Welcome into the Great Lakes Basketball Coaches Corner. I'm Max Drummond, and tonight we're going to be starting off by talking with the away coach of the Avon Lake Shoremen, Eric Smith. Coach, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having us tonight. We appreciate it.
It's our pleasure. We're excited to see this great Southwestern Conference game. So you guys are coming in winning 4 out of your last 5, and they've also been on a bit of a hot streak of their own. What's going to be the difference, and what has made you guys successful during this recent stretch of basketball here?
You know, we've kind of grown up a little bit as a team. We were, a younger team. We only had a couple of guys with the varsity experience coming back from last year's team. And we knew as the season progressed that we were going to get better, and we're getting to that point now where we're understanding what we need to do as a team to be successful, and we're doing those things on a nightly basis for a full game. So it's given a chance to be successful. We won 4 of our last 5. I think the keys to the night, this is going to be, an up-paced game. Both teams like to play fast. So tempo is not going to be a problem. I think for us, the key are going to be 2 things. Number 1, we got to match their physicality. They're a strong team. They do some things inside the paint, but they shoot it well. And the second thing, we got to keep them off the offensive glass. First time we played, we were up. We were winning at halftime, and we got out-rebounded in the third quarter. They went on about a 15-2 run in that third quarter, which, we gave them the lead. We came back and had a chance to win it at the end, but we can't allow them to go on those kind of runs by, getting to the offensive glass.
Yeah, and I just want to talk about for a moment, you referenced their shooting and how great they are. Obviously, Jaden Crutcher is an amazing player in his own right, but they've really developed the three-point shot as a team. What kind of strategy do you guys have to go about in defense to limit that?
The key thing for us is we have to get back in transition. We have to understand they run the floor extremely well, and we can't allow them to get open looks. We've got to force them to go through the heart of our defense on every possession. And, I think that if we can do that, we give ourselves a pretty good chance. I think we're a pretty good half-court defensive team. If they get out in transition, that'll be difficult for us.
Yeah, so you guys definitely are probably one of the few teams in the conference that is able to match up with them size-wise. And then moving into, I guess, looking forward just a little bit, but it plays a factor into tonight's game. You talked about your team being able to grow. This closeout part of February, 6 games in 17 days. How do you guys prepare going into conference games like this and moving forward throughout the rest of February?
You know, at this time of the year, you'd rather be playing games than practicing. You know, right now, you know, you're at that point in time where practices are getting a little bit shorter. You have everything in that you need to. Now it's just a matter of, you know, keeping legs, you know, and getting some shots up and making sure you're preparing for games. You know, and every game in the Southwest Conference is a grind. You know, we went to Berea, you know, 10 days ago and got them and gave them their only loss. They're in first place. You know, we think if we play to our best of our abilities, you know, we give ourselves a chance to anybody. So we're going to see what happens tonight.
We're definitely excited to see it. And lastly, I just wanted to go over who your starting lineup is going to be this evening.
We're going to go with Tyler Burke, senior at the point guard, Cameron Moore, junior at the 2, Derek McCrum at the 3, Peyton Lurch at the 4, and Andrew Lamb, senior at the 5.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much, and best of luck this evening.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
That was Coach Eric Smith of the Avon Lake Shoremen. When we come back, we'll hear from John Guzik and Elyria head coach Brett Larrick. You're listening to high school basketball here on the Lorain County Sports Network.
Great Lakes basketball brings you our Coach's Corner, and the coach we're talking to now is Elyria head coach Brett Larrick. Coach, you're coming out of the Greater Cleveland Conference, so you guys always had a rock'em sock'em kind of conference. There was never a night off, but this year in the Southwestern, it's as strong as it's ever been, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it was 2 Fridays ago. All 4 games were within 4 points. 2 of them were in overtime, 2 3-point games. You know, every night you have to be ready to play. And that's how this league is. On the road, at home, it doesn't matter. It's a physical league, great coaches that scout, prepare, and do as good a job as any coaches around.
And as we're getting ready to talk about more tournament time, does that help you? Obviously, the type of matchups in the tournament, but how do you keep your kids from kind of getting worn down through the grind?
This time of year, we're kind of backing off a little bit, so practices aren't quite as long. You know, it's a tough balance. You got to go hard, but maybe a little bit shorter, and try to balance keeping them fresh, keeping them healthy, not as heavy legs. So it's a balance. We try a few different things, and hopefully we can sneak in a few days off here and there.
So this team, a younger team, the first month was kind of feeling it out, but the reality is you guys have lost 1 game in 2024. So how do you keep that going?
Kind of what we've talked about from the beginning of the year. You know, we said a couple tough games, right? Sandusky, you know, the Garfield Heights tournament down in Canton. We played some good teams, and we said we had to get better to compete. And our mindset has been to get a little bit better every day, get a little bit better every game. And I think we've done that. It's shown at the end of games. We've finished some games out. We've come from behind. We've led from the start, not let teams back in. So we've kind of had a variety of what we've had to do. And every step of the process, we've learned and gotten better. And that's our goal, is to get better every day.
I know when you have a young team, there can be some frustrating moments for a coach. I guess there's frustrating moments regardless of the age of the team. But what are some of the nice things you've seen this year that's one of the younger guys has kind of brought to the table, maybe even one of the bench guys who's been contributing more?
Well, we want to talk about the young guys. Our one senior, though, Xavier Church, has been great for us. He's been unbelievable. Doesn't get a lot of praise or notoriety, but he guards the best player. It doesn't matter if it's a point guard, shooting guard, post. He sets our screens, he slips, he gets on our guys when he needs to. So he kind of controls all these young guys. And in general, our young guys have done a good job. The thing that's been surprising is we knew we had some depth. We didn't know how many we'd play. But I think North Ridgeville last Friday, we played 12 guys the first half. A couple guys got in foul trouble and other guys stepped up, and that's been the real nice thing is everybody's paid attention to detail, their scouting report, their assignments, and we haven't had drop-offs when we go onto the bench.
So this Avon Lake team, who do you put Xavier on? Do you put him on that leading scorer, the leading three-point shooter? What do you do here against those Shoremen?
He'll be on Lurch tonight. We think he's one of their most dangerous. If he gets going inside, gets us in foul trouble, so he'll start on him. And then we have some options to go big or small, so then he'd go to one of their guards. And they got a good balance, Lurch inside, and then their two guards, Burke and Moore, can really shoot it. So we got our hands full, and we got to make sure we pay attention to our assignments and stick with our guys.
Well, it's always fun to be here, and we're looking forward to an exciting tip-off just a few minutes away here. So stick around with us on the Lorain County Sports Network. Getting ready for a good one tonight. We've got Avon Lake here playing Elyria in a Southwestern Conference showdown. Shoremen come in with an overall record of 5-5 in the Southwestern Conference, 9-7 overall. Meanwhile, these Elyria Pioneers, who really did play a tough schedule in the month of December, and kind of figuring out where this young team is at, they're now 11-5 and only have 2 losses in the Southwestern Conference at 8-2. I'm John Guzik along with Max Drummond, welcoming you here to the Elyria High School gym. We only have 3 Tuesdays left in this first inaugural season of the Lorain County Sports Network. So thankfully we've got 3 good ones, and we're going to have 3 host Southwestern Conference schools on these last 3 weeks. And kind of doesn't get better than to start with tonight. As I mentioned, the records-wise, Shoremen coming in and it kind of had an up and down season. Well, as the Pioneers really on a roll, only 1 loss in this entire 2024 portion of the year. And coming in tonight, they've won 4 in a row, but not to be outdone, the Avon Lake Shoremen have won 4 of their last 5. Here's the anomaly with the Shoremen, though. They come out with this huge win, go out to Berea, and come up with clearly their best win of the year, an 87-81 win over Berea Mid-Park, giving them Berea their only loss in the conference this year. But then they come back home and lose to Midview, and hopefully have righted the way as they beat Bay and Amherst coming into this game. And Max, what are we looking at to say would be the keys of the game? And our keys of the game brought to you each week by Buckeye Community Bank. Today and tomorrow, your partner for growth.
Yeah, both teams are obviously building up steam here as the season rolls on into its most important phase. And looking at the visiting Shoremen, definitely after talking with Coach Smith a bit, they want to be able to force this Elyria Pioneers offense into the paint. Don't let them settle for easy jumpers or have open looks from the three-point line. That's how you let them go on these big runs, and you look up, you were down maybe 2, and all of a sudden you're down close to double digits. And then for Elyria, for their side of things, they want to be able to upkeep the pace, the whole flow of the game. They don't want it to slow down. They want to turn this into a track meet, and it'll be up to Avon Lake to try to keep up with them.
Yeah, one of the things we're going to look at when we talk about keeping up with them is if you look at the top 3 scorers off the bench for each team, Elyria's top 3 scorers off the bench average almost 18 points a game, pretty equally split amongst 3 players. For Avon Lake, they basically average half that off the bench, 9.8, and almost all of that is because of sophomore Brandon Bromley. He's kind of coming into his own as a sophomore here and contributing. But that's something that we'll look in the fourth quarter. We were here earlier with WDLW against North Ridgeville, and that seemed to be what happened in that game as Elyria just kind of wore them down. And the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game, it was just Pioneers offense. So that's definitely a factor that's going to weigh into tonight's game. And another factor was we always look at our injury and inactive report. And the good news here as we're getting into February is both teams healthy overall. For the Shoremen, Anthony Benedict did not make the trip today. That's a short-term outage because of illness. So expect him back quickly. In our inactive and injury report each week brought to you by Elyria Jewelry and Repair, treating customers like family. Mentioned at the open of the broadcast about the RPI rankings. It's a new system this year. We got a little exposure to it this past weekend as the girls' seeding was done based on that. Coming into the night, there's 76 teams in the Division I Northeast. That's right. I said 71 teams in the Northeastern District. And it's led this year by St. Ignatius, which is way out in front of everyone. The top Lorain County team is Elyria, which, of course, is where we're at tonight. They come in at number 21 in the county. Avon is right behind them at 22, and the Avon Lake Shoremen sitting at number 33 in that region. Definitely both teams could use, that big win tonight. Shoremen don't want to slip below that 38th spot where they would give up a potential first-round home game. And obviously the Pioneers looking to solidify and even move up in their ranking before the seedings come out this coming Sunday, because only tonight's game and the Friday games will count against that. And the Pioneers are going to be playing at Amherst on Friday night, while Avon Lake will go home to face Olmsted Falls, both of those being in Southwestern Conference action, and both of them going to have a whole lot of leverage on those final RPI rankings as this game as well tonight. And obviously the Pioneers, number 2 in the Southwestern Conference, still got a shot at taking home the Southwestern Conference trophy this year. So there's a whole lot at stake for both of these teams getting ready for the second season. We're glad to have you along on this Stewart's TV and Appliance Game of the Week on the Lorain County Sports Network. I'm going to get to your starting lineups here in just a second, but we're getting ready to have our national anthem, which is brought to you each week by Rich Resendez. Vote Rich Resendez for Lorain County Sheriff in 2024. The officials getting their usual introductions with a smattering of applause for the officials, but still nice that they recognize them. And we're going to get ready now to have the playing of our national anthem.
Currently serving to defend those freedoms. I remind gentlemen, please remove your hats as we play our national anthem.
Obviously, that means we're getting ready close to tip-off here. So far tonight, it's been split action as Avon Lake won the freshman game at the charity stripe as time was expiring. Meanwhile, the Elyria JVs rolled all over Avon Lake by a 20-point margin. So seeing who wins the battle here to make up the difference of this triple header tonight that we've had at Elyria High School. So let's get into our starting lineups before they get out and ready to tip it off here. We'll start with those visiting Shoremen from Avon Lake. And I know there's been a rule both for football and basketball recently about contrasting colors between your numbers and the core color of your jersey. And I don't really think maroon on black classifies as contrasting, but we should do our best to pick up the numbers tonight. So big star we're going to talk about a lot is number 1 for Avon Lake. The senior guard is Peyton Lurch. He's a 6-foot senior averaging 18 and a half points a game, 5.6 rebounds, and he's also the Shoremen's best free throw shooter at 72%. Also starting at guard, 5'10 senior Tyler Burke. He's averaging 12.9 points and almost 2 rebounds a game. He also leads the team with 54 assists. He'll be wearing number 5. Derek McCrum, also a senior. He's 6'2", averaging 3.5 points and almost 6 rebounds a game. The senior really contributing there off the boards. Cam Moore is number 14. He's the only junior in the Avon Lake starting lineup. He's a 6'3 junior, averaging almost 13 points a game this year. Also 3.7 rebounds and leads the team with 27 steals. And the lineup would be rounded out by number 22, Andrew Lamb. He's the big guy for him, 6'4" senior, averages 5.6 points and 2.8 rebounds. Meanwhile, for those Elyria Pioneers, mentioned they come in 11-5 on the season. They're going to start LaRon Anderson Oliver. He's number 3 out there, a 6-foot junior guard. 4 juniors will be starting for Elyria tonight. Anderson Oliver averages 1.4 points and 2 rebounds a game. Tyler Blanton's number 5. He's a 6-foot junior guard, 11.2 points and 1.6 rebound a game. Jaden Crutcher, he's a guy we'll be talking about a lot next year for Mr. Basketball, but this year just a junior, still averaging almost 20 points a game, plus almost 5 rebounds and 5 assists per game as well. Xavier Church is who Coach Larick talked about a lot. He'll be mainly on defense, but he does average 4.2 points and 3 rebounds. He also has 15 blocks this year. And number 25 is B.J. Todd. He's the one in the circle right now, getting ready to jump it up against Cam Moore as we get ready to go. Todd, a 6-foot junior, averaging 4.4 points a game. And the Shoremen start with the ball. And this is Lurch giving it back up top to Moore. Working on the left side to Burke. Back out to Lurch. Lurch is going to step and talk a 3. That one's a little long, but rebounded by Moore. And he'll reset the offense, get another chance to get points on this first possession of the game. Elyria and Avon Lake here on the Lorain County Sports Network. This is Tyler Burke working against the defense coming from Anderson Oliver. Patient offense by the Shoremen, and that's by design. They're not looking to get into a track meet with Elyria, not in this matchup. Although Shoremen certainly have shown throughout the season they're capable of putting up the points. You mentioned they put up 87 against the top team in the conference, Berea Mid-Park, just a couple weeks ago. Here, still working for that first point. This is Cam Moore, going to drive into the lane, puts it up, no good. Rebound comes off to Todd. Here comes Elyria for their first possession. Already a minute gone in this game, and Elyria just getting into the front court for the first time in this contest.
And Avon Lake did a great job setting up in transition defense right there. That's something Coach Smith was worried about going against Elyria.
Todd on the block. Good footwork. Looked like he might have been from this angle. Had to take an extra step, but he used his body to get to the basket and start the scoring for us tonight. 2-0 Elyria. Now a turnover as Avon Lake tries to get it into the front court. And McCrum's pass going to the left side goes out of bounds. Still 2-0, 6:35, clock moving here in the first quarter. Anderson Oliver running the offense. Looks back to the top of the key for, that's Blanton in there. And now this is Crutcher. Crutcher pulls up, 3-pointer, little long. Todd with the rebound. Todd looked at Crutcher cutting back down the lane. Good movement, good sharing by Todd, working the boards and getting the assist as well. 4-0 Elyria.
And as for B.J. Todd, it's going to be tough to see if the Shoremen have somebody to match it.
Tyler Burke matches that one right there. He hits a 3 from long range on the left side in front of the Elyria bench, and it's 4-3. 5:55 first quarter. Crutcher can literally score from anywhere on the court, and this time he's going to try a 2, and that one's short. And rebound comes off to the Shoremen, controlled and ahead to Cam Moore, who goes up against Crutcher. Crutcher blocks the ball out of bounds. I'll tell you one thing that's hard to learn as a young player. If they're good enough to block that shot, let them block the shot. Make them get up and get it. And no harm on the offensive side. You maintain possession, get a chance to get back up there. Of course, it's a big cheering opportunity for the fans and get some emotion going for the Pioneers as they get the ball back off the missed shot. And Anderson Oliver works it over to Todd. Todd touching the ball on every possession here so far. Working on the right side and then back up to the top of the key. Anderson Oliver going to drive the left side of the lane, gets tied up, kicks it out to Crutcher for 3, a little short on that one. Rebound comes off to Peyton Lurch, and he comes back the other way to try to get some offense going for Avon Lake.
And that was a good double team down low, but left Crutcher open. That's the risk when you choose to do that, especially against these Pioneers.
They're going to call an offensive foul on Lurch going into the lane, and getting the contact was Taylor Blanton, draws the foul. First team foul of the game, and not exactly who Coach Eric Smith for the Shoremen wants to have picking up that foul. We talked also about the depth of this Elyria team. We talked about it in the coach's corner. We talked about it in the productivity of the bench. And Coach Larick already just 3 minutes in going to subs for the Pioneers. That's something that keeps your legs fresh late in the fourth quarter. Crutcher works to the foul line, gets it knocked out of his hands by McCrum, comes away with the steal, and here comes Avon Lake the other way. Still 4-3 is all we've got. Elyria up by 1. This is McCrum. Gets it over on the right side. That's Andrew Lamb. And we're going to get a first foul of the game on the Pioneers. And Shoremen will take it out on the baseline.
That's unfortunate for Xavier Church right there. The pass was probably going to go over Lurch's head anyway, but he was being physical there, trying to withstand him at the hoop.
Well, the first 2 fouls of the game as Lamb takes a 3-pointer that's way short and goes out of bounds. But you couldn't, if you're the coaches, you know, the last person you want to have fouls early is your leading scorer for the Shoremen is Peyton Lurch, and your number 1 defensive guy for Elyria is Xavier Church. And those guys both have the fouls here to start. Here comes Elyria trying to build on this 1-point lead. Not a lot of scoring as we approach the halfway point of the first quarter already. Crutcher works off the pick from Blanton. Still dribbling, pulls up, shoots. That one's good. So one went long, one went short, that one went in, and Crutcher has 5.
It was only a matter of time, right?
Well, we've seen that with him time and time again, and one thing I noticed in the stats before the game is one thing to have the most made 3-pointers. It's another thing to have the highest shooting percentage from 3-point as well for your team, and these guys, Lurch and Crutcher, can do both. This is Cam Moore. Working against Blanton, still working, pulls up, that's inside the arc, and that's 2. And Cam Moore is on the board for himself, and it's 7-5 in favor of Elyria. And here they come quickly into the lane the other way, putting up the shot with Jeremiah Daniels. It's no good. Rebound comes off to Moore, and here comes the Shoremen. 3:21 to go, first quarter. Cam Moore looked like he might pull and shoot, but he gives it up to Lurch, gives it back to McCrum at the top of the key. 10 guarded by 10. This time it's Moore, guarded by Daniels. Burke gonna drive the left side of the lane, gets contact and gets the shot to go in as the foul's called on Taylor Blanton. Tyler Burke has 5 already in this game with a chance to go to the line for the traditional 3-point play, and we're tied at 7 with 3:06 in the first quarter.
And not only is obviously an and one crucial, you get obviously the old-fashioned 3, but right there, pause the game for a moment, and it allows some substitutions to come in for Avon Lake.
It also looks like, you know, for Shoreman, you like to see Tyler Burke, only 5'10", had no trouble driving the lane and going up against the bigs.
Off the glass.
And gets the 3-point play to give Avon Lake its first lead of the game at 8-7, just under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Again, a lot of subs for both teams already now. And this driving in the lane is Daniels, who kicks it out. Pulling up inside the 2-point line is Crawford. Shot's no good, but rebounds taken in by Xavier Church and then off the leg of the Shoremen. And so interesting, my official's angle on this would be if that's a kicked ball, it goes at the 28-foot line. If it's just knocked out of bounds, it goes where it went out of bounds. So I'm not sure which one they called because they inbounded it pretty much in between those 2 spots, but nobody is going to be measuring that out there. Here's driving into the middle of the lane, putting it up is Campbell. No good, and the rebound comes off to Bromley. We talked about him in the pregame, and he's been really, as a sophomore, contributing a little bit more and more each game for the Shoremen and their key point scorer off the bench. Cam Moore gives it back out to Burke. This is Peyton Lurch. He's their top scorer. Guarded closely that time by Church. Church on Lurch. You know I'm going to screw that one up at some point tonight. And here it is, Lurch against Church. Picks up his dribble, gives it up to Burke. Switch puts Church on Burke. Burke says, I'm going to try driving to the lane again. And he puts that one up, but it was over the rim and no good. And then Peyton Lurch is going to get called for his second foul. And he knows right away he's heading to the bench with 1:52 to go in the first quarter. As he's got both of the Avon Lake fouls here early on. And that doesn't help you when you're trying to beat the number 2 team in the conference on the road as you lose your leading scorer with 2 fouls right away.
Yeah, and this is a time where we kind of been in a stalemate almost. Very low scoring for both of these teams here in the first quarter, almost at the end of it. This is a time where Elyria can strike and try to extend that lead, or take the lead and extend it.
Campbell drops it down in the lane. Beautiful look to Nicholas Rogers, and he's got 2. He's already exceeded his season point scoring average. 1:33 to go, 9-8 Elyria. Save on the baseline by Burke, still getting harassed, and now And get a foul from behind.
Pioneer foul on number 0, Campbell.
And that one's going against Campbell.
Entering for the
Third team
Pioneers,
foul on the
number 1,
Pioneers in this
Rondell.
first quarter. I can remind you, they'll reset at the end of each quarter. I think we're all getting used to that rule by now. This is McCrum inbounding for the Shoremen. Still looking, still looking. Finally gets it in. That's Anthony Pippa off the bench now. This is Cam Moore. Taking his time, gonna pull up for a deep three. Got it. Ooh.
Number 14 for Avon Lake, Cameron Moore for 3.
We definitely have some three-point shooters out here. Moore has 3, and Avon Lake's back up on top 11-9 with a minute to go, first quarter. Good pass again, down on the block, finding the open guy. First shot's up, no good. Rebound is by Kate Rogers. So he gets the offensive board and the 2 points, and Rogers has 4 already. Tied at 11, 48 seconds to go, first quarter. Cam Moore gonna get probably guarded a little closer after he nailed that last 3. This is Bromley working in the lane, gets contact, flips it up, no good, but he'll go to the line for 2. I believe that foul's gonna be called on Darian Crawford. But Crawford his first, and it'll be the team 4th, so
At the line, number 2.
shooting will be Bromley on this one anyway, and then all fouls in the rest of the first quarter will be shooting fouls for the Shoremen.
Now entering for the Pioneers, number 10.
Bromley, we mentioned before the game, averaging 7.4 points and almost 2 rebounds a game off the bench. Misses the first one there. Gets a chance to put the Shoremen back on top with this one. Sights it, shoots it, no good. Rebound comes off, and this is Elyria. And look at all the action that Nick Rogers is bringing to the table here. Shot up no good. Put back quickly by Gramet, and then goes out of bounds to the Shoremen. So we're seeing a lot of names already on the floor for the Pioneers that don't show up always in the scorebook. But Coach Larrick mentioned they had 12 guys get on the floor in the first quarter of the first half of the last game, and he's going to probably try to match that tonight. 15 seconds to go, first quarter. Avon Lake going to look for the last shot. McCrum gives it out to Moore. Now under 10 seconds to go. Moore gets the pick, but then just loses the ball out of bounds. Unforced error. 5.3 on the clock, and that gives Elyria the chance to take the lead before the end of the quarter.
And it seems like right now Avon Lake, they're just relying on a lot of isolation, and it's just guys taking turns trying to get to the rack. We'll see if they try to draw up a few more design plays in the second quarter.
Here comes a final shot attempt. Ball gets knocked loose by Burke, and Cam Moore's going to fire from three-quarter court. No good, but good defense by Burke, and now he's going to check in on Pioneer. Went hard to the ground in the middle of the lane after the ball got knocked away, but Jeremiah Daniels going to walk off the court on his own, and we're going to take a break here. It's tied at 11 after 1 in Elyria. It's Shoremen and Pioneers on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here in Elyria on the Lorain County Sports Network, the Pioneers in the white jerseys come in averaging almost 63 points a game, so just getting 11 in the first quarter. That does favor the Shoremen as far as the pace is concerned so far, but we also have seen that a lot of that scoring for the Pioneers comes in the second half when they do tend to wear people down. And we've seen a lot of Pioneers get on the floor so far tonight. I'm John Guzik along with Max Drummond. Max, your thoughts so far in that first quarter?
I think it's really interesting that Elyria was able to really attack down low and almost borderline dominate the paint, especially rebounding and their scoring, which is exactly what Coach Eric Smith of the Shoremen wanted. He didn't want to see as many jumpers, but the Pioneers have adjusted well, and they've been scoring down low, and it's allowed them to have this game tied.
Yeah, and the Pioneers definitely have a size and length advantage underneath. Now they're going to start with a long three coming off the arms of Taylor Blanton, no good. And here comes McCrum. McCrum, of course, known for his exquisite football skills. Doing a great job on the basketball team this year as well. This is Tyler Burke way out top. Bromley still in there for Lurch, sitting down with 2 fouls for the Shoremen. And Bromley drills it for 3. Bromley has 3. Shoremen lead by 3, 7:20 to go in the half. This is Xavier Church, the only senior on the team. It's going to be a short senior night for the Pioneers when they get to that day. Working in the lane, and Tyler Burke gets a hand on that one as well, just like he did the last play of the first quarter, and Cam Moore is going to take advantage as he spins in the lane, and Cam Moore has 7.
Great job being patient on that layup there.
Biggest lead of the game by either team. It's now 5-point advantage for the Shoremen. Jaden Crutcher working on the left side against Moore. Still looking, no 5-second count yet. This is B.J. Todd, started the game well for the Pioneers, got him out early. Shoremen adjusting their defense, it looks like, accordingly, and Crutcher takes a 3. It's no good, but B.J. Todd's there for the rebound, and then he gets tied up, and he's going to get fouled by Anthony Pippa as he came down. Good job getting over the back of Pippa. You know, everyone else, I hear that one from the stand. He's over the back, and as an official, I say there's no problem with someone being over the back. It's only when you're on the back is it a problem, and that's what B.J. Todd did. He went over the back of Pippa, no contact, and when he came down, Pippa's arm was tied up, and he gets the first foul of the second quarter. Elyria looking against that Avon Lake defense. Church stops, drops it into Todd. Todd tries to go into the lane, but then kicks it into the corner. 3-pointer from Taylor Blanton is good, and Blanton's on the board, and it's a 2-point game.
What a beautiful pass there. Faked me out. I thought he was going up for the hop-step layup.
Good look. Good vision of keeping the court open. Now Bromley's getting pressure in the backcourt. Is just about to be double teamed. And he kind of gets bailed out there as LaRon Anderson Oliver is going to get called on a foul. First foul of the quarter on the Pioneers. And for the Shoremen, 6:06 to go in the half, and Peyton Lurch is back out there with his 2 fouls. And he's yet to score. Bromley is able to save that possession, gets it into the front court. A lot of contact. As he's going up, Pippa took all kind of contact on his back. They give him the shot. It seemed if he hadn't started his upward motion, that would just be a foul out of bounds, but they say that he was starting his upward motion. He gets the 2 points and a chance for the traditional 3-pointer. And Avon Lake has 2 of those in this first half, and that's a big reason they're back up by 5. Jaden Crutcher quickly back the other way. A 3 from the left side, no good. B.J. Todd working the lane again, gets the rebound. Shot up, no good. Gets the ball in his hands again. Up, no good. Another offensive rebound. Up, no good. Tapped around and finally goes out of bounds. It'll stay with the Pioneers. And you're hearing the Elyria fans saying there's contact. Yes, there was contact, but contact doesn't mean a foul. And at least from this vantage point, it looked like the Shoremen were doing a good job of being straight up in their defensive stance. And Todd bouncing around and in and out created a lot of that contact. So no foul called, but Elyria maintains the possession. And now Blanton going to try a 2 as he steps around the defense. And Blanton has a quick 5, and we're back to a 3-point game.
And that all comes back to B.J. Todd's effort to keep the possession alive.
Cam Moore breaking pressure. Crutcher knocks it away after he'd broken pressure. And then as Trent Smith tried to pick it up, couldn't quite handle the spin on it. Goes out of bounds and a Shoreman turnover.
And so this full court press, we're now seeing some effects of it. The Shoremen are pretty rushed trying to get up the floor right now. They're being made uncomfortable.
Shoremen are rushed because they only have 1 guy back there trying to bring it up against 2, and so they got to make that adjustment. Here's Blanton, who's got 5 points in a row, and he's got make it 7. Feeling the hot hand, and it's a 1-point game with 5:04 to go in the first half. This is Lurch, still yet to score. I always say when you got a guy who's yet to score and averaging almost 19, you know he's about to start letting them go at any time. But the good guys know not to rush their shot and let it come to them, and Lurch has been into some minor foul trouble so far today. He's got 2. Shoreman trying to work it in on the baseline and gives it back to Lurch. He passes up the shot and goes back out to Moore. A lot of patience for the Shoreman, but that time Lurch is open and short. Crutcher comes away with the rebound. And quickly back the other way. Did he travel? No call. B.J. Todd gets it to Crutcher in the left corner. Good. second three-pointer of the game for Crutcher. He's got 8, and the Pioneers are back up 21-19, 4:17 to go in the half. Cam Moore working up, looking for some options. Gets it down to Smith, who says, I'll just put up the short jumper, no good. Gets his own rebound. This is Lamb in the top of the lane, no good. Rebound Lurch, no good. Rebound Lurch again, blocked by Church. And back the other way is the Pioneers. Crutcher sends it off to Blanton in the corner. That one's a little long. Comes off to the Pioneers. Trent Smith gets the rebound, and then as Cam Moore was trying to take it up the court, he's going to say that he contacted the ball while he was out of bounds. So no foul there, but Shoremen making some substitutions will maintain possession.
I won't lie to you, the stat guys over here, they needed that stoppage in play.
Right, 3:47 to go. It's a quick game so far. No teams have taken any timeouts. We've only had a couple free throws by Avon Lake. This is Bromley getting harassed, finds the open Lamb on the right side, no good. Rebound Church. Church gets pressure now, but gives it up. And coming into the front court is Bell. Takes the lane. Thought he might have the shot, but finds Crutcher in the corner. And that's almost a gimme when you're Jaden Crutcher. And he's got double figures already, 24-19 Elyria. Lamb working down the lane. Ball gets past Lurch, trying to get him a little too deep in the lane, I think. Lurch is starting to pull up, and as Elyria now has turned a 5-point deficit into a 5-point lead, Avon Lake's Eric Smith calls a timeout from the bench, and we'll take a timeout here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Jaden Crutcher for the Elyria Pioneers. He's been a pleasure to watch in the time he's been here. Elyria made a pretty deep run in the playoffs last year. They lose their big leader, Ryan Walsh, graduates, Mr. Basketball in Lorain County. Goes down to Fort Lauderdale. Not just to spend time on the beat. I know he's spending time on the beat, but not just to spend time on the beat. He's having a pretty big impact down there. And we're going to talk a little extended Mr. Basketball watch at halftime of today's game. We'll include our conversations about last year's winner. 5-point lead for Elyria after they were down by 5 in this quarter. Avon Lake takes timeout and comes back out with a little more active defensive pressure. Tyler Burke on Jaden Crutcher has given up about 6 inches on that matchup. But you see, he's undaunted by the size differential, whether he's on offense or defense. This is Cam Bell, his kid. Cam Bell has his first 3, and just like that, it's the biggest lead of the game by either team. 8-point advantage for the Pioneers with 2:35 to go before the half.
Yeah, and all that switching and screening by Elyria, it's really confusing Avon Lake defensively.
And Burke tried to get it into the lane, but it's stolen away by Blanton. He's going back, by Rogers. Nick Rogers, 6-foot junior, comes in averaging 1.7 points a game. He already has 6 in the first half. This is Bromley. Yeah, he kind of hesitated, decided what he was going to do, and started that pivot foot off the ground before he started the dribbles. So just exactly what Shoremen didn't want to do with their biggest deficit of the game is give the ball right back to the Pioneers, see if Elyria can capitalize on the momentum. Crutcher way out by the timeline. Gives it off on the left side to Daniels. Now the patience is on the side of the Elyria offense. You mentioned that last possession, really waited till they got the best shot. Cam Bell kind of hesitated himself. So you got to hit those in rhythm so many times. So hard to do that after you think about it. And now Shoremen have a chance to eat into this 10-point lead before the half. As this is Bromley working along the top of the key, gets it off to Burke on the left side. Good news for the Shoremen is Lurch has not picked up another foul, but he is on the bench at this point. Bromley works down the right side, shot up no good. Flying in to try to get the rebound is McCrum. Saves the ball, but then ends up being a scrum on the floor after it. And held ball. Possession arrow is going to go to the Shoremen as Xavier Strauss makes his first appearance of the game for the Shoremen. 1:21 to go before the half. Elyria still up by 10. This is McCrum inbounding for the Shoremen. Token pressure by Crutcher, so he gets that in, and then shooting it down the lane was Strauss, but he gives it back up. Strauss not known for his offense. He's going to be in there to facilitate, rebound, maybe get some putbacks. This is McCrum cutting in the lane. Reverse layup off the left side, no good. Campbell comes down with the rebound, gets it ahead to Crutcher. That's that same spot in the corner, but that three's no good. Here comes the Shoremen the other way, led by Strauss. He gives it back to Burke. Under a minute to go, first half. Burke working on Daniels. Now into the corner, they bring it back out to Burke. Ball fake is up, and then the pass is muffed into the lane, and going to be tied up again. And we just had one of these, so of course this time going to go to the guys in the white jerseys with 40 seconds to go.
It's certainly crucial here. That possession you would hope is it if you're the Shoremen, but you got to get a stop here and definitely need to put some more points on the board before the half. Cut it, make it a single-digit deficit heading into the halftime break.
We were tied at the end of one, and the Shoremen went up by 5 in this quarter. Now, at this pace, it looks like the Pioneers won't even bother to really work for the last shot. They'll take what they can get if they can get it earlier. 26 seconds to go. Campbell behind the back, across the foul line, gives up to Crutcher. Back to Bell. He's already hit a three. Crutcher's hit a trio of threes so far. The leading scorer on the floor. Not a surprise. And now they will work for the last shot with 10 seconds to go. He's working against McCrum. Hesitation dribble, goes into the lane. Double team, no good. And the putback is right there for Xavier Church. Perfect time for Church to get his first 2 points of the game as it takes us to halftime with the Elyria Pioneers up now 31-19. We know what's in store here in the second half. It's certainly going to be a knockdown, drag them out, because of Shoremen, the way they play physically and defense, get right back in this game. And of course, the Pioneers are going to go strategize how they can use their deep bench to extend this one. So stick around with us. We got halftime coming up in just a few minutes. Like I said, a special kind of extended look at our Mr. Basketball Watch, which we do each and every game, and it's brought to you by our good friends at Nick Abraham Elyria Ford. Shop ElyriaFord.com and stick with us as we return in just a minute here on the Lorain County Sports Network. Halftime here in Elyria. John Guzik along with Max Drummond. Glad to have you along with us as we've got the Pioneers stretching out a 12-point lead at the end of that first half. 31-19 is our score, and it brings us into the Health Markets Insurance halftime show. Uninsured, enrolled today with Jeff Allison in Amherst as we had quarters of 11 and 8 for the Shoremen, give them a total of 19. Meanwhile, Pioneers had those same 11 points in the first quarter, but scored 20 in the second quarter, and that's how they get up to their big lead here. I told you we were going to talk about our Mr. Basketball Watch, kind of an extended Mr. Basketball Watch, starting with what happened last year as we welcome in Mike Walsh to our halftime show here. And first of all, Coach Walsh, thank you for joining us. And for our viewers out there, give everyone just a quick background of what you've been involved with the Elyria program and what you're doing this year.
Well, yeah, I came here, I hate to say it, everybody will know how old I am, back in 1989 as the JV basketball coach under Art Daniels. And then I was the boys coach here for a few years and the girls head coach for a few years. And then at the end, I was mainly on Coach Larrick's staff as the assistant.
And so today, since you're now working, though, this year a little differently, so explain that and why.
Well, I'm still the athletic manager. I've been that for probably 10 or 12 years, and I teach here. But I gave up my coaching, so I'm able to go down and watch my son Ryan play. He's playing down at Nova Southeastern down in Florida, in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And so it gives me the opportunity to go down and watch him.
And before we talk about that, I do have to ask you that kind of athletic manager question. Could you give us a quick status update on the search for a new Elyria football coach?
Ooh, well, I'll be honest. I'm not on that. I'm not on that committee right now. I know that they're in the process of doing some interviews at the present time this week, and I'm not real sure where they're at. I know they're getting their candidates down, but it should be coming pretty soon.
So we're at the interview process, and I understand from another source that the next board meeting is on the 21st, so maybe there's a timeline to try to get it done before then, so good luck with that. But let's talk about that son of yours playing at Nova Southeastern, which is in South Florida in Fort Lauderdale. That's a Division II team, right?
Yeah, right.
Now they're having a pretty good year, 17-2. They've won 5 in a row. And usually freshmen don't get to play on teams like that.
Right. He's found the right place to be for him. A great school. Last year they won the Division II National Championship. They were 36-0. They started this year 10-0, so they had a 46-game winning streak going. Then they got they got beat, but they've battled back. They were number 1 in the country for a long time. At the present time, they're number 3 in the country. And they had a couple of injuries that they had to fight through, and now they're playing really well. And Ryan's right in the rotation, and he's really playing well down there right now.
And we want to talk about Ryan because he was Mr. Basketball for Lorain County a year ago at this time and earned it very distinctively. So talk first of all about kind of your family experience of finding out that he was Mr. Basketball and how that worked. You know, did he make you serve him at home after that, or how did that work in the house?
No, one thing about Ryan, he's pretty laid back, and he just kind of understands what's going on. But yeah, it was exciting to find out. I was hoping I knew he had a shot at being Mr. Basketball, but there were some very good players we had last year. Matthew Stewie, who he played AAU with, and one of his better friends, and Bodnar from Ridgeville, really good players. But so it was exciting to find out that he won, and that was a goal that he had inside himself that he didn't really say out loud, but he was very excited to represent Lorain County.
So he ends up in Fort Lauderdale. How did that process unfold, and how did he make that final decision to go there?
Well, we visited there. They had saw him play in some AAU, and he went down and they visited, and they weren't sure that where he was going to rank with what they had, and they had to see what kind of scholarships they had left and things. And late, they had a couple kids transfer portal out, and they had some availability. And they gave Ryan a call, and he said to me, he goes, I want to play, at the highest level I can with the best players in the country if I can. And so I want to go down there and give it a shot. And so far, it's worked out really, really well for him.
So you're here mostly in Elyria. It's a little chilly. He's down there in Fort Lauderdale. It's kind of a little warmer there. Have you had any chance to get down and see him in person yet?
Yes, I've been down a few times, and yeah, he's loving that. Like yesterday, I called him, said, how'd practice go? And he goes, we're just getting ready to tee off. So I was like, yeah. He goes, it's 81 right now. And I'm like, yeah, it's 34 here. So yeah, he's loving that part of it. And yeah, I've gotten down to see him play a few times. He had the one game I got down, he had 22 points, and he was 6 for 6 from 3. And he had a great game. So he's really enjoying himself.
So it's been a lot of fun for you guys. How about the rest of the family? And are you able to watch games? Is there a lot of streaming? Or
yes, every one of their games is streamed live. You just go on their schedule and they have a little button that says watch, and you can watch home, away, non-conference. So far, if I haven't been there, I've got to watch every game, live, which is helps a lot.
Well, hopefully he's watching you live tonight since we're streaming this one back
might
in
be.
Fort Lauderdale, and the golf courses are closed by this time
Right.
of day.
Well,
down
you know
there.
what? It's Tuesday. Tuesday night is study table because I've called him a couple nights on his Tuesday, and he'll text me, "I'm in study table, Dad." So
And Mike's working triple duty tonight.
there you go. I got to go back to work. So,
He's
all right. Thank you, guys.
He's
Thanks.
being paged to the table. We appreciate you taking some time to talk to us here. Mike Walsh here has been a longtime coach and not doing the coaching this year, the athletic manager stuff, so that he can make sure that he keeps in touch with his son. And I know with these cheap airfares sometimes to Fort Lauderdale, he was telling me earlier that he's had multiple trips down to Fort Lauderdale to see him. How about this before we get back to this game here? Ryan Walsh, Mr. Basketball 2023, has had a season high of 23 points earlier. He's shooting over 50% from the field for both twos and threes. And I think more importantly, when you're a freshman coming into a top program like that, he just hit his season high in minutes. So apparently he's getting kind of the trust of the coaches even more and more so as they head to their postseason. As Mike mentioned, they're number 3 in the country. And we're going to come back and talk about two really good teams in the Southwestern Conference getting ready to go for the second half action here as Elyria is up on Avon Lake 31-19, and we'll be right back after this break on the Lorain County Sports Network. Back here, just in under the buzzer here for the second half. John Guzik along with Max Drummond. We got 31 points for Elyria. That's been led mainly by Jaden Crutcher. He's their top scorer for the season. He's got 11 already in the first half tonight. Also scoring for the Pioneers, Taylor Blanton has all 7 points of his in the second quarter. We got 6 coming off the hand of Nicholas Rogers, who we've talked a lot about today, averaging only about 1.7 points a game, already has 6. And then Xavier Church made that last shot of the half. B.J. Todd has a couple points, and Campbell hit a three-pointer for the Pioneers. For the Shoremen, who start the second half with the ball, 6 points for Tyler Burke. That was number 5 that you saw there. That's Peyton Lurch turning around in the lane, and he's the leading scorer for the Shoremen. He's still yet to score as the Pioneers come back the other way. And just holding that pivot foot just long enough was Taylor Blanton before he gives it up to Xavier Church at the top of the key. Coming around now is Oliver. He's been leading the offense from the start. Nice entry pass to Todd, but he scoots it out for a three-point attempt in the left corner from Church, and he has his first tray of the game and 5 for the contest. Biggest lead of the game for the Pioneers now at 15.
That's the second time we've seen B.J. Todd kick it out from the paint for a three-pointer.
Yeah, big guy. You're waiting for him to go right in there. Just about to say that Avon Lake's got to do some things to find some offense, and Andrew Lamb says it's about time for me to hit my first basket of the game. And that breaks a long string for the Shoremen. They were stuck at 19 for quite some time. From the top of the key is Blanton. That one no good, but B.J. Todd cleans it up and puts it back up and in. B.J. Todd racking up the offensive rebounds today, and it's back to 14-point lead. Cam Moore splits the defense. Jaden Crutcher, he uses his length well. S'mores, great spin in the lane.
Wow.
Lays it up over the front of the rim. That's a Sports Center moment right there from Cam Moore. He's got 9.
Yeah, lucky for viewers, they'll be able to go back and watch that over and over as many times as they'd like.
Crutcher trying to answer the other way, and he does. Driving the right baseline, trying to pick up that third foul off of Peyton Lurch. He'll take the points, though. Burke gives it up to McCrum, who brings it quickly into the front court, kicks it out on the right side, and ends up with Moore in the corner, and he dribbles it back out. Deep 3 from Moore. He's trying to score from both ends, from the front of the rim and the deep 3, and that one's no good. Blanton going to answer with a 3-point attempt. That one's no good. Tyler Burke steals away the rebound from the much taller Jaden Crutcher. Crutcher, some contact on Burke's shoulder as he comes up, but Burke goes through it, lays it up off the left side, no good. Church with the rebound. Crutcher back the other way, eyeing things up and says, we'll kick it back out here to Oliver and start over. 5:36 to go. Quick start to the second half. Burke knocks it free again. And now, we're going to get the timeout from Larrick. We got looking up to both coaches because as Anderson Oliver rolled over. That would be a turnover, and that's what Eric Smith was indicating travel, but Brett Larrick had caught a timeout first. And we'll take a quick timeout here as well on the Lorain County Sports Network. Halftime show here is featured Mike Walsh of the Elyria Pioneers talking about his son, but Max Drummond's been sitting here tallying up stats all day.
Yeah, so looking at that first half of play, we obviously had a three-point barrage there from Elyria, 5 of 13 from downtown in that half, and also 9 offensive rebounds for the Pioneers to just 4 offensive rebounds for the Shoremen. So obviously the paint being dominated by Elyria so far.
That is a turnover as it pass went right to Lurch, and he's firing back the other way. Spins in the lane, saw what Cam Moore did. His doesn't go, but he gets his own rebound. Crutcher gets the block, and I think they're going to call Crutcher on the foul. And he is, for Crutcher, his first. And Peyton Lurch, who's yet to score today, averaging 18.5 points a game. And maybe he can get his first points from the free throw line. He is the Shoremen's best free throw shooter on the year, hitting at 72%. Adds a little bit to that. 38-25 now the score. 13-point lead. It was as much as 15 for the Pioneers. 5:19 to go third quarter. Lurch gets them both. He's got 2 points on the game. And quickly back into the front court come the Pioneers. This is Campbell, the top of the key to Blanton. Brings it back to the top himself, dribbling. Off on the left to Crutcher will shoot from there. So when that guy lines up like that, defense has to respect that, because he definitely can hit those shots.
Most of he's just testing. He's toying with them right now.
Can't wait to see what he can do next year. This is Bell getting defensive pressure, kicks it in the court. Oh my! In motion, Taylor Blanton grabs it, moving to his left, squares up, drops the three-pointer as he goes out of bounds. And Blanton is in double figures. 15-point lead is again for the Pioneers. 4:32 to go, third quarter. Lurch gets the nice pass in the middle, blocked from behind by Crutcher. And coming off with the rebound is Bell. Quickly back the other way, going to try to go coast to coast. Gets it knocked away defensively, but manages to maintain possession, gives it up to Church. And then Lamb pulls in the rebound for the Shoremen. And quickly back the other way, McCrum, outlet to Lurch. Stops, fakes, up, good.
That's just a tough finish, one they needed to see go down at this moment.
Lurch has 4, get him scoring now, and it's back to a 13-point margin halfway through the third quarter. This game is moving along quickly. This is Blanton taking his time. Been a lot of this today, despite the fact that we've had a good amount of scoring. Like you said, all those three-pointers. They've not rushed the offense, and Blanton misses that three-pointer, and McCrum with the rebound and quick down court outlet to Moore, who puts it up with the right hand and good. Seen a couple of nice moves by Moore, and he's into double digits now with 11. And the Pioneers are only leading by 11 here. This is how the Shoremen get back in it. One possession at a time, right? There's no 11-point plays out there. And Crutcher does line up that one. Boy, I tell you, they give him just enough room, and he makes you pay for it. He's got 16 already on the game. Here's Burke into the front court for the Shoremen. Comes across the foul line in the lanes, puts it up himself, but no good. Lurch getting in there for the rebound, but then knocked away by Church from Lurch, and Church back the other way for the Pioneers. Kicks it back out to Daniels, who then gets it back down to Church on the baseline. This is Blanton working against McCrum. Church from the corner, that one's a little long. McCrum knock it out of bounds. We'll say it was Campbell that actually touched it last. The Shoremen get a chance to continue to work at this lead. It was 15, now it's 14, so not a lot of progress so far, but first thing you got to do is stop the bleeding, and they seem to have done that. Lurch tries to get a long pass, has to do everything to recover it after it got knocked away by Church. And this is Cam Moore, who's had a couple of nice moves. But that one not going to work, just loses the ball off his own leg. And Campbell's coming back the other way. Stops, kicks it back out. This is Blanton for 3.
Man, oh man, that's
Taylor Blanton now in double figures with 13 points. And it's now a 17-point lead, and the Shoremen need another timeout, as this is the biggest lead of the night for the Pioneers. Stick around. We'll see what happens next on the Lorain County Sports Network. Well, the Elyria Pioneers, quite frankly, are a very good basketball team. There's no question about that. You get down by 17 in the third quarter. What do you dig for, and what do you start on first to try to edge into this lead for the Shoremen?
Obviously, defensively, you can't keep having these open threes. Even though they may be in range of closing out, you got to stick to these guys. I know it's tough, especially with how many points we saw in the first half from Elyria, but you'd rather see twos go in than all these threes. And then offensively, they've got to get good rotation going on. Too much isolation, too many one guy trying to go and get it all on his own. Just spread the floor a little bit and see what you can make happen.
No B.J. Todd, no Jaden Crutcher on the floor now for the Pioneers. So if the Shoremen got a chance to make some noise, it might be the right opportunity, as Lurch now has 6 after being scoreless in the first half. Driving into the lane and dumping it down. A beautiful pass to Church on the baseline. Oh, that's Rogers. No, from Rogers. I'm sorry, I'm listening to the PA announcer. I don't know why he said Rogers. Rogers is on the floor.
Yeah, he scored. He's the one who scored.
This is Blanton with the rebound. Coming back the other way, Campbell moving in the lane. Up around the rim and up. Good. Campbell has 5. Back out to now a 19-point lead. Bromley trying to answer, gets the contact going up off of Blanton. Basket goes in, and for the third time today, Shoremen have a chance for a traditional three-point play. We don't see that a lot anymore, and yet we're seeing it potentially a third time today for a team that's still down by 17.
Yeah, it's showing their willingness to take tough baskets down low, and that's another thing right here. To obviously not as much time left as you'd like, but transition points is going to be a major factor throughout the rest of the game for Avon Lake.
Bromley missed his first 2 free throws, but that one's up and in. And like you said, this quarter has gone quickly. Only a minute 27 to go in the third quarter. And that's exactly what the Pioneers want right now. The Shoremen got to find a way to create some possessions. And McCrum knocks away the ball from behind there. Great defensive play. Comes up to Bromley now, coming into the other way. But he loses the ball. Picked up by Pierre Alston, and the Pioneers get it back. Boy, a big blown opportunity there for the Shoremen to gain an extra possession. Long cross-court pass, but brought down by Rondell Grimmett. Well, we're seeing a lot of names off the bench here. Nick Rogers comes around, and he hands the ball off to Daniels. Daniels working against Burke.
A great elevation shot by Grimmett there. That might even be something the Pioneer fans want to see on the football field. Who knows?
Yeah, we were talking about that football coach search there at halftime. He's progressing, as we know. Other schools have named theirs. Columbia named theirs this week. Lorain named theirs last week. So coaching jobs are going. Here's Tyler Burke intercepting a pass, getting into the passing lane and going to the hoop. Tries to draw contact, no call. Basket's no good, and Rondell Grimmett comes off with the basketball. Final 20 seconds of the third quarter. Working against Burke again. Burke's got 3 steals at least that I can know off the top of my head. He's been very active hands, and it's all from the first 2 were him popping the ball out from behind and then just getting in a passing lane there. Final 5 seconds. Trying to work around is Crawford. Shot's no good, and Lurch cannot get that one off in time as the quarter ends with the Pioneers up by 16. We're heading to the final quarter. Let's see what magic the Shoremen might have in their trick hat if they got one over there. If they can come back on this one, we'll find out together on the Lorain County Sports Network. End of the third quarter is traditionally a time as we're calling the game. You start kind of getting a feel of who's going to be the Hoop Tech player of the game. So kind of looking at some stats, and there's definitely some names that we haven't called as much this year that are definitely having a big impact on this game tonight. We expect the stars to be the stars out here, but it's always that supporting cast that makes the production what it is, right?
Certainly does, and the Pioneers, you hit the nail on the head in the pregame. First three guys off the bench averaging 18 together, and we've seen a couple of those guys step in and have an impact.
That's the voice of Max Drummond. I'm John Guzik, and here's something you don't see very often, a 5-second call on the inbound to start the quarter. So not only does Avon Lake get the ball here to start the quarter, but they now get the arrow for any subsequent held ball. And now the referees, I think, are talking about changing the arrow. So they already did, but the reality is Elyria had possession of the ball with the arrow. The rule is that the arrow switches to the Shoremen, as it's kind of a double whammy because you don't get the ball inbounded, and it doesn't happen very often when you're coming off of a alternating possession arrow. And Coach Smith has come all the way to the table to discuss that. And they're going to give it back to Elyria. Coach Smith not going to be happy with that resolution.
And that could be key here with a lot of these full court presses still in action, and Avon Lake trying to fight on defense for those tie-ups.
This is a veteran crew out there. And they discussed it at length, though, the veteran crew and the veteran table. Lurch spins, trying to get something going, but they're going to say it went off his leg, and both teams start the half with the quarter with a turnover, and Elyria doesn't mind because they're the ones with the 16-point lead. Full court pressure now from the Shoremen. Have not seen this yet today, and the Pioneers quickly break through that. They get an errant pass, but no one there defensively to get in the way of it, and Jaden Crutcher tracks it down before it goes out of bounds. Now Oliver gets stopped on the block, dumps it down to Todd, who again is going to hit for the three-pointer. And Coach Larrick is saying, put the ball up. You can shoot that, BJ. That's a good shot for a big guy like you. Never have on the block, but trying to share the ball in that one. That one sailed off, and we got 3 turnovers to start this quarter. And if you're the Shoremen, you got to find a way to take advantage. Bromley, step back, 2-pointer, no good. Rebound comes off to Church. And here come the Pioneers the other way. 1 minute gone here in this fourth quarter, and here's another turnover. This one pulled away by Pippa gets the turnover for the Shoremen, and coming back the other way is Bromley, works in the lane, kicks it out to Tyler Burke, trying to three, got it! Tyler Burke has 9 now on the game, and it's back to a 13-point advantage for the Pioneers. Jaden Crutcher answers. Well, I tell you, see the frustration on Bromley coming out to guard him. But when you're a 6'5" guy that can make it three-pointers from that far away, it makes it very difficult to play defense against him because he can drive right around you, too, with that length. Tyler Burke misses a 2 on that end, but B.J. Todd for Elyria has the rebound, and Pioneers coming back the other way. Dumps it down to Todd. This time he's looking to take the shot, but as he's spinning around, takes contact from Pippa.
And that can be a deflating 3. Not only does it obviously changes the scoreboard, but if you're Avon Lake, that was your first 3-point attempt of the half. You got to see it go down by Burke, and immediately Crutcher just says, well, I'll match you real quick. Don't worry about that.
McCrum and Moore back into the Shoremen. I think Coach Smith understands offensively if they got a chance to get some points on the board, it's got to be now. And B.J. Todd just extended that lead even further now. 18-point lead by the Pioneers as Todd now has 6. This is Burke for another 3. His second hit of the quarter doubles his point output for the game. He's now up to 12. We're just under 6 points to go. Lead back down to 15. So Shoremen will take a quick timeout, so we'll keep it here. Talk about what the Shoremen need to do. And this is where you got 4 seniors starting for the Shoremen. You've got 1 senior starting for Elyria. If there's any advantage for the Shoremen, it's leadership in a tight game that can get you back in this.
It certainly is, and it helps when a lot of those guys are scorers as well. Obviously, we've just seen Burke do it multiple possessions in a row, but Peyton Lurch and You also obviously can't forget about Cameron Moore, might not be a senior, but a junior that also has shown the ability to hit from three. So you don't want to just start forcing them up, but at this point you got to get a lot of points in a very short amount of time. That three-point line may become a necessity.
And Elyria coach Brett Larrick shared in the pregame show that, putting Xavier Church on Lurch to try to slow down their number one scorer, and so far that's worked, as Peyton for the Shoremen only has 6 so far. Full court pressure continues for the Shoremen, and this time the double team in the corner results in a turnover. Bromley back to McCrum, going to drive the baseline around Todd. Church gets the block though. Ball goes out of bounds, and now, so Zeno's going to come in because McCrum said something when the ball went out of bounds, but based on the reaction from everybody else around him, I think he was talking to himself, quite frankly, and obviously it wasn't no problem with the call because they had the ball, unless he wanted to foul on the attempt, but it looked like a good block from this angle. Either way, the Showmen missed the inbounding and ensuing two-pointer, and the Pioneers come back with the ball with 5:27 to go in this game. Working on a 15-point lead. Started the game with the Shoremen being patient on offense. Now the Pioneers are going to be patient. Blanton gets just enough past McCrum that not only is able to lay the ball up off the glass with the right hand, but takes the contact from McCrum, who gets the foul, and Blanton gets the point. Blanton now has 15 already on the game with a chance to add to it here at the line. 17-point lead for the Pioneers, trying to maintain that number 2 spot in the Southwestern Conference.
And it's amazing. This will be the first set of that first free throw for Elyria this half. They haven't needed to rely on the charity strike much at all.
Shoreman got some work to do on the offensive end. Pioneers making them work up the court. Cam Moore gets the feed from the corner. That one's short. Lurch looks for the rebound, but then foot hit the out-of-bounds line, and Pioneers will get the team rebound instead and go the other way. 5:05, 18-point Pioneer lead. And we've seen a couple of games this year where the Pioneers have really worn people down in the fourth quarter. So they're not a team that you can come from behind well on, but this is going to be the second turnover as the Shoremen create off of their press. Cam Moore just went over and back, but they're going to call a push. That's what caused him to finally go over the line. The foul's going to be on Jeremiah Daniels.
And even right there, even after the steal, it just didn't seem like they were able to get on the same page. Very desperate for the Shoremen to get a hold of the ball there, but either way, they get to work on it in the half-court setting now.
And that's what the only junior starting on the team is Cam Moore. He'll be back next year. Bromley will be back. This is Lurch working up the base, and he gets the shot to go up and in and gets contact. Let's see who they're going to call that foul on. He's kind of getting fronted front and back. And they're going to call the foul on Church. His second for Lurch. He now has 8 with a chance to get another one here at the line, and it's a 16-point lead still. And now it's 15. Lurch has 9. Full court pressure still from the Shoremen. Knocked away from behind by McCrum, who gets the feedback from Bromley and puts it back up and in. Quick 2, that's the way to do it. First 2 points of the game from McCrum. It's down to 13. Here come the Pioneers breaking the press this time. Flip back to Crutcher. No good on the 3-point attempt, and quickly back the other way as Bromley finds Moore streaking down the other way and lays it up on the right side. And Cam Moore converts. Cam Moore has 13, and it's all of a sudden an 11-point lead. 4:14 to go here in the fourth quarter, and Elyria takes a full timeout, so we'll take a break here as well, as we'll be back with the rest of Elyria and Avon Lake next on the Lorain County Sports Network. mentioned Elyria, a young team. I got up by 19. I don't know what their exact mindset is, but sometimes your mind starts to wander and you start thinking about what's going to happen after this game. Because I know the Pioneers have their eyes on the schedule. On the 23rd, the last day of the season, they play Berea again, and that game could very well be for the Southwestern Conference title if they can hold on against the Shoremen here, who are doing a great job with their press, still in the backcourt, and finally getting over the timeline in about 8 seconds was the Pioneers. All kinds of pressure results in Jaden Crutcher just sitting in the corner by himself, and you just can't do that against him.
Yeah, that's a second possession in a row. It's ended up that way. The first one, they got lucky he missed. That one, he made sure to hit it.
11 in the first half for Jaden, 11 in the second half for Jaden. Here's Cam Moore on the baseline. Doesn't like what he saw there, so he twists it back out and gives it to Bromley. He's going to step into a three, little off. Lurch coming in for the rebound. Lurch does a great job on the offensive boards. He's the leading offensive rebounder for the Shoremen. You see why just in this quarter alone. He keeps his possession alive. Pioneers back up by 14. Just 3.5 minutes to go in this one, though. Lurch going to drive the lane, gets in against Church. Brought up short, rolls off the front of the rim and comes off into the hands of Jeremiah Daniels. Comes back the other way, but Crum knocks it away. Cam Moore picks it up and coming all the way across the court for a foul call. It's going to be on Jeremiah Daniels. He now has two. Third team foul of the quarter. Shoreman certainly not giving up. Still down by 14.
And that's one area, if you're Elyria, you got to be careful. You can't hit that bonus here. That'll just slow down the game and make it easier.
Step back two, just inside the circle, no good. Rebound comes off to Blanton. He's had a really nice game tonight. Church coming up, gives it ahead to Daniels. This is Church again. And of course, they'll kick it back out because now it's going to be the Pioneers being patient on it. Look how he skipped with that left foot. No call. Still gets pressure, gets it out top to Blanton. Blanton working into the lane. Now going to lean in and take a shot. Coach Eric Smith wanted to travel on that one as well, but not going to get it.
Entering now for the Pioneers, number 4, Darion Crawford. And for Avon Lake, number 10.
Blanton now at 18, but he's also contributed well on the defensive end, and he's done a really good job on the rebounding side as well. Real coming out party. He's also just a junior. Part of the starting five here, but comes in averaging 11.2 points a game, and he's way beyond that already, obviously. 2:32 to go. Shoreman needs some help. That one went off the foot of Bell, so Moore can go in the backcourt and get that one. Comes into the front court again, gives up to Lurch. Now going into the lane, gets the ball smacked away by Church, and coming out again, guess what? Taylor Blanton. And he's going to get fouled by Bromley as he comes across the timeline. So not a bad foul by Bromley to slow down the Pioneer offense, but it does mean that Jaden Crutcher comes back on the court for the Pioneers. And Shoremen are happy to see number 10 on the bench as long as he can be out there.
Certainly Brett Larrick more than happy to sub Crutcher back in for this offensive possession.
Team fouls are even at 3 here in the fourth quarter. Remember, we shoot at 5. Full court pressure again by the Shoremen. This one's broken, and Campbell comes just right down the middle of the lane and just softly lifts one up and in, and he's got 7. Back to an 18-point lead under 2 minutes. Time's really running short for the Shoremen. This is Bromley working hard into the lane and puts it up and in. He's got 8. Full court pressure continues from the Shoremen. Campbell gives it backwards. This time it's Daniels bringing it up. Steps into that one to Blanton and finds a streaking Darion Crawford to get his first 2 points. And that's that Taylor Blanton again we mentioned. He's just contributing on all aspects of the game tonight. Cam Moore going to pull up with a 2, no good. Crutcher gets his hand on it. And finally the loose ball is corralled by, guess who? Taylor Blanton, who gets it ahead. And Darion Crawford's going to get back-to-back baskets. He has 4 on the game, and this is the biggest lead of the game. It's a 20-point margin for the Pioneers, and that's pretty much going to do it here with 1:12 to go in the game. Bromley working on the right side, gets the foul. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. It's an interesting thing, though, because in the first game up at Avon Lake, the Pioneers win by 4. And you think, oh, that's just a hard-fought Southwestern Conference game. You're going to look at the score tonight and think differently, but I'll tell you what, it's just that hard each night when you play in the Southwestern Conference, and it also shows how this Pioneer team has come along this year. And I say, great job by Coach Larrick, because we know he's got the stars out there. He's got the Jaden Crutcher, he's got B.J. Todd, he's got Taylor Blanton scoring well. But it's bringing along all those other guys to be contributors is what keeps your legs fresh in the fourth quarter. It's going to what keeps your legs fresh in the second season.
Certainly is, and they've just done a great job being adaptable. You know, there were times tonight where they had to drive down low and get buckets there, and other times where you stick to the game plan. Jaden Crutcher from deep, and both were very reliable for the Pioneers, and it just shows they're really finding their rotations, and they're comfortable with a lot of different guys playing.
Bromley makes the second of his 2 free throws from the Rewalk Law free throw line. Rewalk LLC, call attorney Chris Rewalk for a free consultation. Cam Moore just answers with a dunk. That puts some excitement into it. As our dunks are brought to you by Steve Lawson of Russell Real Estate Services. Pioneers tried to answer, but Peyton Lurch gets it back off of that rebound, and he scores. Steve Lawson, Russell Real Estate Services, selling or buying your next home. Considered top performing realtor Steve Lawson. We're always excited to have Steve Lawson's advertisement on there, because it means we got this exciting dunk from Cam Moore. Pioneers pretty much done scoring. It almost seems like just can't find the bottom of the basket. And here comes Bromley the other way. He'll take advantage of that and put that one in. And then make it a 13-point final margin as the clock runs out on the Shoremen, and the Pioneers move to 9-2 on the year on the Southwestern Conference with a 70-57 win over the Avon Lake Shoremen. Nicely done from start to finish by Brett Larrick's crew. We're going to get into the post-game show, and we're going to award our Hoop Tech Player of the Game and run down the stats and talk to the winning coach. So stick around, and we'll tally that all up and bring you the post-game show right after this on the Lorain County Sports Network. All of a sudden, I'm very afraid. There's this ominous tone ringing here, and it just ended there as we came back from our break here. As we get into the Peace, Love, and Little Donuts post-game show. Peace, Love, and Little Donuts, feed your inner hippie. And I also saw today that Peace, Love, and Little Donuts is going to have the Punchkis this year for Fat Tuesday coming up next week. And, of course, we'll be working. Whether we're fat or skinny, we'll be working here on the Lorain County Sports Network. So before we get into the wrap-up of tonight's game, remind you that we're part of the WOBL WDLW sports team, and that coverage is going to continue tomorrow with a girls game on WDLW. That'll be in the Lorain County League. as they'll go over to Columbia, which just had a tough loss to Keystone. Columbia are going to try to extend their season, taking on Oberlin. Then on Friday, Max and I will be in Oberlin, as we'll be on WOBL for a Lorain County League matchup featuring the Wellington Dukes playing Oberlin. And then Friday night on WDLW, another Southwestern Conference game. That's going to be Avon at Midview. And that leads us perfectly in the next Tuesday, where we invite you to join us from Avon for another good matchup. This one's going to be a non-conference game, as next Tuesday we're going to have the Lorain High Titans on our Lorain County Sports Network for the first time this year in a non-conference matchup with the Avon Eagles. And, of course, all these games next week would just be getting yourself ready for the tournament, because the seeding will happen on Sunday, and we'll get to how this game impacts that in just a little bit, what the ramifications may be, as both teams will have one game left. As we get into our post-game show, we expect to hear from winning head coach Brett Larrick, and we'll name our Hoop Tech player of the game. But let's start with the scoring and run down how the Pioneers got to their 70 points tonight. Started out 11-11 after the end of the first quarter, but then Pioneers' offense was very consistent as they added quarters of 20, 20, and 19. That totaled up 70. Leading scorer on the night, not a surprise, Jaden Crutcher lands in with 22 points, including 6 made three-pointers. He was just his usual self. I mean, he kind of spoils you with his ability to just put up numbers when needed for this team. And he's not going to mind that another junior out there, Taylor Blanton, had a great offensive night. Taylor had 3 threes. He also converted 4 two-point plays, 3 regular two-point plays, and then a traditional three-pointer as he got the N1 to total up for 18 points for the Pioneers. Other scorers tonight, Nicholas Rogers had a great scoring night. Only came in averaging 1.7 points a game. Puts up 8 tonight. Very nice job by him off the bench. Cam Bell contributed 7 for the Pioneers. Again, bench points for the Pioneers, helping them out so much. B.J. Todd had 6. Xavier Church, who they're relying on defense tonight, did it a 2-pointer in the first half and hit a 3 in the second half for a total of 5 points. And Darian Crawford wrapped up the scoring for the Pioneers, making the final 2 baskets of the game to give himself 4. For the Shoremen, started out nicely for them. They tied at 11 after 1, but only managed 8 points in the second quarter, and that was really their undoing. 16 in the third and 22 in the fourth, which is not enough. Totaled up to 57 points. They got high scoring tonight from Tyler Burke, the senior 5'10 guard, using all of his height to get in there, and he ends up leading the team with 12 points. The Shoremen had 11 each from Peyton Lurch and Brandon Bromley. Meanwhile, 3 points from Andrew Lamb and another 3 from Anthony Pippa. And the leading scorer tonight, who gave us that exciting dunk at least at the end, and the guy who's coming back for the Shoremen next year. The only underclassman starting for Avon Lake is Cam Moore. Came in averaging 12.8 a game. He hits 15 for the Shoremen tonight to total up to their 57 points. We break down what's happened in this game. Let's check in on our rebounds first. Our rebound report is brought to you every game by Romeo's Pizza, locally owned and operated in LaGrange and Lorain. And I know we talked about that Taylor Blanton guy that did well on the offensive side. He had a big lot to do with the rebound report today, too.
Of course, he helped contribute to Elyria's 2017 rebounds. They also were able to come up with 11 offensive boards throughout the game, and that led to them out-rebounding the Avon Lake. And B.J. Todd also chipping in 9 rebounds himself. So just great job on the boards and in the paint by the Pioneers all night.
All right, we're going to talk for a minute about a guy talk about the chain, first of all. We got Taylor Blanton here, number 5 comes up here. Talk about the chain, my friend.
And just something that we always reward each other after a win. Just like a player of the game, stuff, but my real MVP was everybody. We all stepped up. Church really played his role. He's one of our key pieces, and getting blocks, deflections. We just do what we need to do. So.
Well, I appreciate you bringing in your teammates right away, but let's talk about Taylor Blanton's night for a minute here, because is this the first time you've worn the chain this year?
No, this is my second time actually. So just had to lock in mentally. Just by getting the dub first, I was obviously trying to help my teammates. We had a slow start. We played 3 quarters. We needed to play all 4, so we'll clean it up though.
Well, we noticed with your game, you definitely hit it on the scoring side. You had 18 points tonight. We were just talking when you came up the steps about your rebounding ability, the assists. What's your favorite part of the game, and which part of your game do you feel is your strength?
My strength is obviously, I feel like I can manipulate, like when I have the ball, play make, because obviously I can create off the dribble, so I try to like drive, kick, get other guys involved, and just pretty much just get everybody involved. So.
Well, tonight you and Jaden Crutcher, obviously your guys' three-point attack as a team is always effective, but tonight that's what really started to separate you guys. How are you guys able to move and transition and find those open shots so easily?
Just keep moving the ball. We can't hold the ball very too long, so we gotta keep moving it. Find open guy. Also we have to believe in what we got. So just find our niche, and just do what our roles are supposed to be done in how we are in practice.
Well, and you guys clearly show that, and Coach Lyric is obviously hard on you out there, but it seems to be paying off, and you guys have been really effective, especially down the stretch here.
Yeah, we had a rough start to the season, and then we had a piece started puzzling. So we started to figure it out, and it's really starting to pay off. Good days, stacking good days in practice, weight room, film, scout report. So just trying to stay locked in and get to this conference championship. So
when you talk about trying to stay locked in, what are some of the things you can do to stay locked in?
Stay in the gym, stay at what we do, be on time, to practice, film, weight room, all the above, and just always stay ready. You'll never know what your name going to be called to come on the court, no matter what, so just stay locked in.
And what kind of goals is the team talking about in the locker room these days? Like you said, it was kind of a rough start, but you guys only lost one game this whole 2024 calendar portion, and we're into the final weeks of the season.
Our main goal is getting to the last game of the season. Just keep winning, keep stacking good days, and get the conference championship, and just we gonna get there. I promise you, we gonna get there.
And what do you feel that you've learned from last year, getting as deep as you guys did in the tournament? That experience, how do you feel that's going to help you this year?
I feel like we have a young team, but like we understand what it takes to get to there, what we are trying to get to. So we had a couple good guys. We had Steven Furkheim and Ryan. They came in and did good things for us, and they showed us how things are supposed to be done in practice. So I followed some of Ryan's steps, just like coming in, shooting in the morning, and just keep stacking great days. So just keep stacking good days.
Well, we appreciate the show you put on for our viewers and our listeners here tonight. Taylor Blanton, our Hoop Tech Player of the Game. And, that chain I know you got to give back to the other teammates from game to game. This shirt from our Player of the Game is something you're going to keep for yourself and wear it as often and as proudly as you want. And it is designed by Lake Screen Printing, Lorain County's oldest and largest union label screen print company. So Taylor Blanton from the Elyria Pioneers is our Hoop Tech Player of the Game. Hoop Tech, where basketball meets technology. Congratulations, Taylor. We'll get you on our social media and look for you guys in the tournament as well.
Thank you.
All right, Taylor Blanton, a great night tonight. We were talking about him early in the second half about his productivity tonight on all aspects of the game. And he's definitely not only our opinion of Hoop Tech Player of the Game, but comes up with a big change, so we know his teammates feel the same way about his performance tonight.
He certainly did, and those locker room picks are among the best I've seen in Lorain County basketball this season. They're always, it's just obviously a great environment in there, and he's one of their great leaders, and he showed that tonight in a tough conference game.
So let's run down Taylor's stats again here tonight. We've got him scoring 18 points on the game. He had 7 at halftime, and then really did a lot to extend that big lead in the second half, hitting 2 threes from behind the arc, another traditional 3, added another 2-pointer late, 18 points, and came in averaging 11.2. And what other stats jumped out from Taylor's line tonight?
He was also able to compile at least 4 rebounds on his night, and set up a lot of the spark the transition baskets that they were able to get, and moving the ball around the perimeter. We saw them relying on that, especially in the second half when Avon Lake began tightening up on defense. So he just did a great job moving the ball and keeping them on schedule, so to speak, as that lead, once they were able to get in double digits, they never surrendered it, and it never got into single digits there in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's good observation, because we saw a couple of plays where Taylor came away with the ball from the basket, and his quick outlet pass made the offense transition. He didn't get credit for the assist, but he gets the ball ahead to the guy who gets the assist, and then they convert the basket, and that's why the Pioneers pulled away in the second half. And it makes you really wonder, between their experience last year and what they've already done this year, how deep this team can go. It's a very tough district, and we got to allude to that at least as we bring in the winning head coach from the Elyria Pioneers. And Coach, it's got to be nice to look up at the end of a Southwestern Conference game and be up by 20 at one point.
It is. I think with a minute to go, it was up 20, 21, something like that. And, that's nice. You kind of lose track, I think we got up early, and then the fourth quarter we turned it over a few times. So they cut it to 11 at one point, and then we stretched it back out to 20. And then we can play some of our younger guys at the end. But, yeah, no. This league, anytime you can win in this league is good, especially Avon Lake. Just beat Bree a couple weeks ago. We knew they were playing well, and our guys were focused. We were ready to go. And I thought big key was first quarter we were stagnant on offense, slow. And that second quarter we got the speed where we wanted it, and I think that was the key.
Yeah, did you thank the Shoremen out there? Because you still have now a chance to go against the Bree in your last game of the season and have a shot at the
we talked a little bit. That's still a little far away. We've got some other things to take care of. But we talked to Eric after the game a little bit, and we're looking forward to our next conference game this Friday on the road. We've got to keep getting better every game.
Let's talk about this Taylor Blanton guy who was just here. What's your impression of his performance tonight?
I mean, him and Jaden Crutcher, man, those are two good guards to have. And when you focus on Jaden, it leaves Taylor open. When he can set his feet, he's playing fast attack mode. Good things happen. He's got some games where he's been kind of hesitant. And we've been, catch and shoot, feet set, and then he can attack as well. And, it's really, really nice as a coach to have two really good guards on the wings that can score. But, give credit to our point guards as well, moving that ball, getting it to them as well.
No doubt.
And tonight, obviously, coming into tonight, you're known for a lot of perimeter offense and being able to shoot the ball at a very high efficiency. But tonight, you guys were really adaptable. There was a moment there in the first half where it really relied on battling in the paint. Can you just talk about your guys being able to adapt, and especially like B.J. Todd, guys like that just stepping up?
I thought B.J. Todd did, we went to him first play of the game. I thought he did a really nice job attacking the rim. He missed a couple he wishes he had back, changing his shot. But then he kept getting those rebounds. We want to pound the glass. We want guys going after it. And him and Xavier Church inside, when they can get on the glass and get us extra possessions, it's huge for us. And I thought BJ did a really good job, except for the one he threw away. We had to lay up. But we need him to be aggressive. We need him going right at that rim with no back down.
Yeah, we appreciated your reaction to that one, too. So that was a good one.
Well, he's been working. Coach Gunder's been working with him going on. Like, we want him to go dunk the ball. It's not feasible all the time, but that's the mentality, right? Attacking the rim, right at the rim, going strong, attack mode, and that's what he's been doing for us, and we want to score those layups.
Well, that kind of goes back to what your original comment was about you still have some things to work on. You see how good this team is. You see how much better they can still be, and that's got to be exciting.
Absolutely. Coach Gunder will clip the clips tonight. We'll be back at it tomorrow watching, getting better from this game, and that's what we talk about. A little bit better every game and a little bit or every practice first. We got to have 2 good days of practice to get ready. But then each game we've been getting a little bit better. That second quarter, had a 17-0 run and then come out in the third and score. That's what we want. Keep it in the game and then stretch it with our depth where we can get the other teams tired. And
that next game is going to be this Friday. You guys go over to Amherst for another Southwestern Conference match, so we wish you luck on that. Appreciate you taking some time with us during our Peace, Love, and Little Donuts postgame show, sir.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate you guys coming out, and good to see you. Hopefully we'll see you down the road.
Absolutely. Brett Larrick, the head coach of the winning Elyria Pioneers tonight, and the Pioneers now move to 12-5 on the season, 9-2 in the conference. That's quite an accomplishment when you talk about the Southwestern Conference, and we're going to see more Southwestern Conference here on our YouTube channel, as we mentioned, next Tuesday from Avon, and then the Tuesday after that from Avon. So we'll have them in a non-conference game next week against Lorain, and then wrap up our inaugural hoops season of the Lorain County Sports Network 2 weeks from tonight back at Avon High School for another Southwestern Conference showdown. Appreciate Max Drummond, everything you added at our broadcast tonight. Some final thoughts that you have for this night's game.
I think obviously the Southwestern Conference is going to come down to the final week, and we had a pretty good idea of that moving forward, but just seeing this many teams be up for it, and really looking forward to our matchup that we'll get to see non-conference wise is Avon. They can still make some noise, especially late into February, early March. So we get a lot of competitive games. Coming into tonight, we had 6 straight that were decided by 10 or less, so I'm sure we'll get back to that next week.
And we have a couple other mentions to make here as our run out all of our stats. We go back through all the points, our rebounds, and turnovers and assists. And the stats brought to you by Alan Januzzi, CPA, because it's all about the numbers. And kind of no way you don't give the Shooting Star Award to that Jaden Crutcher guy, because He is just, and you know, when you're got that 6'5" length, and you can shoot from where he shoots from, makes him so dangerous. He's certainly nowhere near what he's going to max out to be. And tonight he hit 6 3-pointers on the way to 22 points for Jaden Crutcher. He's our shooting star of the game, brought to you by United States Air Force. Aim high. Visit Staff Sergeant McCraven in Avon or visit airforce.com. Appreciate everyone who puts all the work into getting this done. Our sports director, Don Vincent. Our owners are Gary and Renee Tollett. On site here, Edwin Vereen and Mike Allison making things happen behind the YouTube connection and our camera work. And appreciate you guys watching us here on the Lorain County Sports Network. And a special thanks tonight to Mike Walsh here at Elyria for being our halftime guest and giving us info on Mr. Basketball 2023, Ryan Walsh. And we're going to be talking about our Mr. Basketball watch as we continue on for the rest of this season. Just a quick reminder before we sign off here, tomorrow night, girls basketball on WDLW from Columbia. On Friday, Max and I will be down in Oberlin as Oberlin and Wellington match up in a boys game in Lorain County League. On Friday night on WDLW, it's boys basketball action from Midview as Avon goes down to Grafton for a Southwestern Conference game there. And again, join us next Tuesday at this exact same time on this exact same bat channel, same bat time, as we will be at Avon High School for a non-conference game between Lorain and Avon on the Lorain County Sports Network. Thanks to everyone who makes all this possible. And again, looking to be back on the air a week from tonight on the Lorain County Sports Network. Have a great night, everybody.